Christine, I'll start with you. With the insurance industry, Florida getting a taste of this, what's going to happen?
I mean, this was already an industry in crisis, and then you add on what is just a traumatic tragedy that is still happening. I mean, there were already insurance companies that were pulling out of some zip codes that a lot of folks who might not even have insurance this morning when they're waking up here. California coming in with a sort of an insurer of last resort that will be tested for sure. And then people around the rest of the country have noticed their own insurance premiums rising. This isn't just a California or a Florida story when we're talking about extreme weather. Everyone's insurance rates, premiums have been rising for a few years. So this is, I would say, a tipping point for insurance, no question. This math is just impossible math. In California, over the past decade, insurers, for every dollar in premiums they collected, they paid out $1.08. That just doesn't work.
So, Andrew, let's get you in on this. As you talk to business leaders, industry leaders, how do they see this going? Because it does feel like we're entering a new era.
I think we're entering a new era where it's possible that parts of this country, if not the entirety of it, we'll see how long this goes, are quote unquote uninsurable. I mean, you just discussed math that doesn't add up. And so you could be, have huge premiums. But then the question is, are Americans going to pay those premiums? Are they worth it? What, by the way, is going to be the role of government in all of this to prevent these types of things from happening to the extent they even can be prevented given the climate change that we're seeing? So I think that there's sort of a massive dynamic here. This on the insurable losses, by the way, is now probably up to about $20 billion. But then in total, we're talking about maybe something on the order of $150 billion of losses. Now, part of that's because some of these homes obviously were super valuable, given that they were on the coast and the like. But there's going to be a huge ramification from this. And then we haven't even talked about the business ramifications just of what's going to happen in California, whether people are going to stay in California, what the next even several weeks or months or years are going to look like. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of conversation, unfortunately, not just about the human toll, which obviously is so great, but the economic one for the whole country.
Absolutely. And in the days since the deadly wildfires in Southern California began, conspiracy theories have started to spread across social media about the origins of the fires and the California government's response to them. There are even AI-generated images of the famous Hollywood sign on fire, something that has not happened. This coming as Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced earlier this week that the company is getting rid of its independent fact-checkers. And Stephanie, I believe Elon Musk is on Instagram spreading conspiracy theories, and it's just out there for people to consume without any understanding about what's true or what's not true.
It is so problematic and it's so dangerous. Mark Zuckerberg clearly made a short-term business decision for himself this week. They're getting rid of third-party fact-checking, and they're actually taking that effort and moving it to Texas. The irony, as though Texas isn't political, it obviously is. But this is a crazy short-term decision. It works for him because, remember, in less than 3 weeks, Donald Trump is going to be the new president. So if Mark Zuckerberg no longer has, quote unquote, the onus on him to mark your tweets or your Instagram posts, your Facebook posts, to take them down if they are not true, to mark them, now he doesn't have to do that, because he would have to do that if he hadn't changed these rules, and that would put him at odds with the president. The question is going to be, though, Mika, for users, right? We have to remember, at the end of the day, if Mark Zuckerberg and all these business leaders make business decisions to make money, remember, we're the ones who use the product. So no longer is there fact checking. And remember, they also rolled back the rules on hate speech. So if now anyone can say anything and there's no protections, then all the people that use these platforms need to decide, do I want to be here? Do I want to drive in a car with no seatbelts? Do I want to get on a roller coaster with no safety protections whatsoever? And if users suddenly say no, well, then advertisers will say no. Then Mark Zuckerberg will have a different business decision to make. But right now, they're making this short term. Well, let's just see how it works out. And how it's going to work out could be terrible.
Mika, though, I think there's two other calculations in this. One is the regulatory environment for Mark Zuckerberg. The FTC cases and other cases against them.
They're going to disappear.
And whether those cases disappear and how much value would be extracted for that. The other piece is you look at X. While there's a lot of folks who watch this network who may have stopped going on X, There's a lot of other folks who started going on X and other folks who may not love what's happening on X but stay on X in the same way that we hear about, privacy concerns at some site, or, you hear about information getting stolen on some site, and then we go back to that same store online the next day. And so there is a question, and I think that Mark Zuckerberg is recognizing that math.
But especially the FTC case coming up. Imagine, that is gargantuan.
Right.
It could be hugely damaging to his business. That thing could disappear. And he could also now have Donald Trump in his pocket, helping him with other issues as he's facing governments on the other side of the world.